you'll find guys like MacArthur holds to that view also. I'll give you a good citation for it if you guys want to take notes. Again, in his revised edition, his anniversary edition of the Gospel According to Jesus, John MacArthur cited page 39 of his book. He says, quote, "Faith that does not result in righteous living is dead and cannot save." End quote. Let me say it again. Faith that does not result in righteous living is dead and cannot save. End quote. So MacArthur is essentially teaching faith plus righteous living equals salvation. Ladies and gentlemen, that's faith plus works equals salvation. Ladies and gentlemen, this man denies the doctrine of sola fide, faith alone. He denies the doctrine of Christ alone. He's conflating faith and works. And take a guess what text MacArthur cites in his book to try to justify his position. Remember his quote, "Faith that does not produce righteous living is dead and does not save." Guess what text MacArthur appealed to? James 2, 14 through 17. It is the key text that legalists love to quote. They love to quote this passage and they love to pervert it. Now let me just tell you this about James 2, 14 through 17. James 2, 14 through 17 does not teach justification before God. And James 2, 14 through 17 does not teach faith plus righteous living equals salvation. Not in any way, shape, or form. Now, if you have your Bible, I'll walk you through James 2 real quick. It starts out by saying, what does it profit, brethren, if a man say he has faith, but hath not works? Can that save him? Now, notice how he starts out by saying, brethren, if a man in him. Brethren, man in him. Underline those in your Bible, okay, in James 2, starting at verse 14. Okay, if you underline that, that's important. Again, brethren, man in him. Why am I telling you to underline that? Because he's referring to men. Take a look at the next verse. He says, if a brother or sister is naked and destitute for the things needed for the body. Okay, take a look at that text. Brother or sister, underline that as well. He's referring to men. He's referring to women. He's not referring to God. Read the subsequent verse after that. And one of you say to them, you and them. He says, depart, go in peace, be warm and filled, but do not give them the things needed for the body. Again, I'm just prefacing. But notice he says, and one of you say unto them. Look at the context of that. You and them. He's writing to men. He's writing to men. And then the last verse, most notably, says, faith without works is dead. So if you study James 2, 14 through 17, you'll see he's writing about brethren, man, him, brother or sister, one of you say to them. He's writing to men about men. It's not referring to a justification before God. It's dealing with a justification before men. Now what does that mean, a justification before men? If I were to go outside tomorrow, or today after church, and we saw a homeless person outside, and he said, look, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. I don't want no money. Could you just buy me something to eat? I don't care what it is. I'm just starving. I can't think straight. I'm so hungry. And we say to that person, we'll pray for you, buddy. Have a good day. And we go right on the Cracker Barrel. Well, think about, you pretty much, there goes your justification before men. But again, it's not dealing with the justification before God. Other people will also twist James 2 because they'll go to verse 21 of James 2, where it says, was not Abraham justified by works when he had offered Isaac upon the altar? People go to that and they say, that's referring to a justification before God. I'm like, really? You might want to continue to read, because if you actually read James 2:21, what is he referring to? He's pointing to Genesis 22. Well, here's a newsflash. Abraham had already been saved long before that. Okay? He points to Genesis 22, but Abraham had already been saved years before Genesis 22.